Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 2 of the 38th National Veterans Wheelchair Games Power Soccer Competition for Power Soccer Shop. I'm Tony Jackson, and this match featuring Team Atlantis versus Team Gemini. We're about to get started here in just a moment. Referee Chris Mulholland getting ready to blow the whistle. I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Our only match of the day, this one right here. And the referee has blown the whistle. We are underway. Starting out here, Michael Powell for Team Gemini. Oh, and a huge collision right there. My goodness. Raymond Kozarowski, more affectionately known as Ski, crashing into absolutely everyone. It looks like he hurt himself on the play. He went barreling in for that ball and didn't stop. You can see he's holding onto his leg a little bit. Hopefully he's going to be all right. So Michael Powell is going to take this direct free kick for Team Gemini. Over to Milt Young. Ski with the ball. Deflects it and sends it away. That ball's going to go out of play. Kick in for Team Gemini. Milt Young sending the ball into Powell. Michael Powell looking to split the defenders, and he does. Nicely done. And we got a 2-on-1 violation on Team Atlantis, so we're going to get an indirect free kick. Ricardo Laurel in goal for Team Atlantis. Michael Powell. Now this is, again, an indirect free kick, so it has to touch somebody before it goes over the line to count as a goal. Oh, and that ball knocked out for a corner kick. Very close play. Let's watch that one more time, ladies and gentlemen. You see Powell sends that ball through, and Gonzalez and Laurel combine on defense and knock that one just wide of the post. And so Milt Young for Team Gemini going to take this corner kick. Powell at the near post. Charles Barnes at the far post. Young sends that ball into play. Powell is there. Powell looking for space. Michael Powell, can he control the ball? He can't get to it. And Laurel sends it out, but we're going to get a 3-in-the-box violation on Team Atlantis. Hendrickson, Gonzalez, and Laurel all in the goal area together. That is an indirect free kick awarded to Team Gemini. So Powell's going to take the kick. Young waiting at the far post. Let's see if they can connect and score a goal. Powell sends that ball across. It's going to go just wide of the post. Good defense by Team Atlantis. So a goal kick for Team Atlantis. Wild Bill Hendrickson going to take the kick. Now, that could have been a double touch. Powell and Hendrickson getting into it there. It's going to be a kick for Team Gemini. Powell looking for a passing option. He's going to try to go to Young, but Hendrickson's right there. That ball goes right into Hendrickson. Barnes has got it. Now Hendrickson again with it. Powell, Hendrickson. Ball out of play, last touching off of Powell. And so it's going to be a kick in for Team Atlantis. Nicely done by Young, but Ski takes the ball and cuts that pass off. Powell crashes into Gonzalez. Powell trying to split the defenders, crashes into Gonzalez, and so that's going to be a direct free kick for Team Atlantis, but we're going to pause for just a moment. It looks like Hendrickson lost a strap, so it's going to go off the pitch. Hendrickson with the ball. Powell rips that ball away. Gonzalez and Hendrickson trying to hold off Powell, and Powell just ripping through everybody, just trying to blow his way through the Team Atlantis defenders. And referee Chris Mulholland is going to call a 2-on-1 violation, and so an indirect free kick for Team Gemini. Powell sends a strong spin kick out of play, and so a kick in for Team Atlantis. Barnes and Gonzalez now fighting for the ball. Gonzalez looks like he won that battle, but it went out of play off of Gonzalez, and so a kick in for Team Gemini. Barnes sends the ball back into play. Hendrickson loses control of it. Powell now with it. Powell. Ski is there for Team Atlantis. Powell takes a shot. Young is there. Young passes back over to Powell. Powell regains control of the ball, now trying to drive it in. Michael Powell looking to go behind Laurel. There's Young with an opportunity to score. Young can't get to the ball, and it goes out for a goal kick. Milt Young with an opportunity. Couldn't quite latch onto that ball. Let's see if we can get a replay here. And you see Powell splits the defenders. Young is there to get that pass, and he just couldn't get that chair straightened out. And so it goes out for Team Atlantis goal kick. Hendrickson with a good bump there with the front of his chair. Hendrickson has that ball ripped away by Powell. Gonzalez and Barnes now fighting for control of the ball. Ski is there, nicely done by Gonzalez. Powell also there. That's close to a 2-on-1 violation on Team Gemini. Referee Chris Mulholland is going to call it, so it's going to be an indirect free kick for Team Atlantis. Powell, it looks like Powell's strategy is to just bump that ball away from Hendrickson whenever he kicks the ball in. He's just going to sit there and wait for it and try to bounce it off of his chair. It's been fairly effective. Maybe Hendrickson should reconsider his kick-in strategy. Milt Young kicking the ball back in. Ski is there for Team Atlantis. Michael Powell now trying to take the ball. And Powell once again just crashing into Ski. Ray Kozarowski just getting beat up out here. Young with the ball, but play hasn't resumed yet, so we're going to do this kick. This is going to be a free kick for Team Atlantis. And that's a 2-on-1 violation. Nathan Gonzalez and Bill Hendrickson getting too close together. Now, for those of you new to Power Soccer, if players from each team are engaged with the ball or within 3 meters, another player from either team can't get within 3 meters of that ball. That's a 2-on-1 violation. And that rule was created to make some artificial space out on the floor. Otherwise, Power Soccer becomes a rugby scrum, and that's not really the spirit of soccer or football for those of you watching outside of the United States. Ski with the ball. Oh, and a nice spin kick by Powell. Now, that ball's still in play at the moment. Powell bounces it off of Young. That's going to be a 2-on-1 violation, however. Powell and Young getting too close together. So you saw right there, Powell and Young were both within 3 meters or about 10 feet of the ball, while Ski for Team Atlantis was also engaged on the ball. Hendrickson sends that ball back into play. Powell tries to get it past Ski, and Ski breaks through. Ski racing down the floor. Can he get around the ball? Not before Young gets there. That's going to be another 2-on-1 violation, it looks like. Nice move by Ski to get that ball down the floor, and now an opportunity for Team Atlantis to get the first goal of the match. And it looks like we're going to get our first substitution coming on for Charles Barnes. Nate Jackson. Hendrickson right into Powell. Powell's just going to strip that ball away, but Hendrickson trying to circle around. Now Ski circles around the ball. Young is there. Young trying to push through Ski, and he does. That is, again, a 2-on-1 violation. Young and Powell getting too close together. th minute of the match. We're scoreless, and we're going to get mass substitutions for Team Atlantis. Coming into the match, Julian Perez, also Angela Lupe. Robert Thomas also into the match. And it looks like Robert Morris rounding out the lineup changes. Powell takes a shot, and that one's just going to go out of play. Robert Thomas sending the ball, or he's about to send the ball in play. It looks like Perez is going to be recipient. Julian Perez now racing down the floor, and a huge strike by Powell as he slams into Perez. Now, Powell really needs to be careful now. He's playing in one of the strike force chairs, and that thing has a lot of turning speed and force, and he really needs to be careful. That could be really dangerous if he continues to hit people. Obviously, it's not on purpose, but still, he needs to be careful as he makes those turns. So Michael Powell once again going to take the kick for Team Gemini. Powell looking for an open lane to pass through. Let's see where he sends this ball. Powell rifles that ball right into Lupe. Young pushing that ball into the Team Atlantis goal area. Nice huge collision there between Thomas and Young. And now Young. Perez, good defense by Team Atlantis. And now Perez pulling that ball out of the Team Atlantis goal area. Jackson trying to pull that ball away from Perez. Now Perez wins that ball back, and we're going to get a 2-on-1 violation on Team Atlantis. So Team Gemini going to take the indirect free kick. While we have a moment, I want to thank all of you for watching today. It's been a fun competition so far. Again, this is day 2, our only match of the day. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m., so I hope you come tune in for that. That ball off of Thomas. That one's going to go out for a Team Gemini corner kick. It looks like Milt Young's going to take the kick. Powell waiting at the near post. Thomas does well to stop Powell. Nicely done, Rob Thomas. That's a 2-on-1 violation. Powell and Young. Perez sends that ball into Thomas, nicely done. Thomas trying to split the Team Gemini defenders. It's going to go out for a Team Atlantis kick it. Thomas into Young. That ball still in play. It's rolling towards the touchline. Young keeps it in, and Thomas kicks it out. So a kick in now for Team Gemini. He's still threatening here, but hasn't been able to score a goal yet. They've had a couple opportunities, a couple near misses. And now Michael Powell coming in with the heavy artillery. Let's see if he's going to bomb this ball across the goal area. Jackson's waiting at the post. He didn't really get a lot of power on that ball. Perez, huge collision by Perez. This is going to be a direct free kick in favor of Team Gemini as Perez went barreling through that wall. And it looks like Perez's guard is broken, so that was a huge collision, and Julian Perez is going to have to come out of the match. And that foot guard is going to go to foot guard heaven because it is no longer usable. So we'll have to see if Perez is going to be able to come back into the match. He's actually leaving the pitch. I think they're going to try to get another foot guard on his chair. Hendrickson back in, taking over for Perez. Now Powell, this is a direct free kick once again, so he can score from this kick. Jackson's waiting at the far post. And he hits it off the post. Powell keeps it in, but he can't control it, and it's out for a Team Atlantis goal kick. Hendrickson bounces that ball into Thomas. Young is there. Thomas dragging Young, trying to turn him back around, and he does. Nicely done, Milt Young. The referee's going to call a 2-on-1 violation on Team Atlantis, Lupe and Thomas. Powell's going to send that ball right off of Hendrickson. Powell looking for Young. That ball behind Young, and now that ball is heading back the other way. Powell circles around to collect it. Hendrickson's there. Hendrickson strips it away from Powell. That's going to be a foul on Hendrickson. Hendrickson with the contact. Referee Chris Mahalan explaining that right now. Hendrickson not really quite sure what he did wrong, but he slammed into Powell, and that is always going to be a foul. So Powell's going to take this free kick. Thomas, Powell sends that ball right through Team Atlantis. He's going to go out for a goal kick. Good deflection by Powell, but he wasn't really quite on target, so again, a goal kick for Team Atlantis. Hendrickson with a free kick coming up. Excuse me, a goal kick. And let's see, referee Chris Mulholland going to call another foul on Hendrickson for once again ramming into Powell. So a direct free kick for Team Gemini. Perhaps Powell sees an opening and he's going to just try to score from this kick. Or perhaps he'll pass it off to a teammate. Let's see what happens here. Powell winding up. Michael Powell takes a shot. Powell with a goal! Nice shot by Michael Powell. Let's watch that one again, ladies and gentlemen. See, he winds up, and even if this were an indirect free kick, this ball bounced off the goalkeeper just at the very end. And so it is 1-0 Team Gemini. Young with the ball, Milt Young trying to get around Thomas. Ball's behind Thomas. Young still pushing along. Hendrickson trying to get that ball away from Young. And referee Chris Mulholland blows the halftime whistle. Team Gemini with a goal from Michael Powell, up 1-0. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the second half, you're watching the 38th National Veterans Wheelchair Games. about to start the second half, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching Team Gemini versus Team Atlantis for Power Soccer Shop. I'm Tony Jackson. We're at the 38th National Veterans Wheelchair Games here at the Orange County Convention Center in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Referee Chris Mulholland blowing the whistle, and we are underway here in the second half. Michael Powell not ready to start, however. He had to get his chair back into Power Soccer mode. And so now we are officially underway, and that ball is going to go out of play. Kick in for Team Atlantis. A hard-hitting, action-packed first half. Julian Perez, as you can see, back into the match. His guard resurrected from the dead. They put a couple of cable ties on there, and he's as good as new. Powell rips that ball away off of Hendrickson. Thomas has got it. Jackson couldn't quite latch onto it. Thomas chasing, but it's going out of play. Kick in for Team Gemini. They lead 1-0 off a Michael Powell goal in the first half. Powell rips that ball down the line. Jackson's there, but he hits it back the wrong way. Thomas tries to circle around the ball to keep it in play, and he does. That ball out of play, last touching off of Ron Polk in the game for Team Gemini. So referee Chris Mulholland telling Polk that he has to be outside 5 meters of the ball before it's kicked. Now, we're holding on for just a moment. It looks like Bruce Sanders, something going on with his chair. Not quite sure. We can't quite see what's happening here. And we're ready to go now. Thomas gonna hit this ball. Powell there looking to send it out of the goal area. And he does. Nice touch by Powell. Powell gonna catch up to it. Nice touch, Michael Powell, to get around Thomas. Now, Powell racing down the floor. He's gonna get to it before it goes out of play. He does. Hendrickson's there, Powell's there, 2-on-1 violation. Team Atlantis, indirect free kick for Team Gemini. Good moves by Michael Powell. Get that ball down the floor. And so Team Gemini with an opportunity to extend their lead. Substitution, Nate Gonzalez coming into the match. He's going to go in goal. So it looks like Polk's going to take this kick. Powell trying to redirect that ball on target, but it goes just wide of the post. Goal kick for Team Atlantis. Powell trying to get around Hendrickson. Polk is there. It's going to go out of play off of Powell. Kick in Team Atlantis. Nice shot by Powell, redirected by Thomas. Powell fighting with Hendrickson. Polk is there, 2-on-1 violation. Hendrickson, Powell. Oh, Hendrickson wins that battle that time. Hendrickson racing for the ball. Powell's there. Jackson's there. 2-on-1 violation. Let's see which way it's going to get called. Something fell on the ground. Not quite sure what it was, but it's going to be a 2-on-1 violation on Team Atlantis. Or excuse me, on Team Gemini, a 2-on-1 violation. So Team Atlantis with an opportunity to equalize here. Perez waiting at the far post. Thomas looking to send that ball across. And there it is. Powell over to Polk. Nice clearance by Powell. He was ready for that ball to come across. Powell sends that ball down the floor. Thomas is not going to be able to hold on to it before it goes out of play. Kick in for Team Gemini. Powell looking perhaps to score from the touchline. Let's see. He's shown in this match that he's got the power. Let's see if he's got the accuracy to slot that one between the posts. Polk is waiting at the far post. Powell going to take a shot. Thomas is waiting to try to cut that ball off. Let's see what happens. That ball right off of Jackson. And Perez collapsing on the ball with Thomas. Perez should have let that ball go. Thomas was in position to defend, but that's a 2-on-1 violation on Team Atlantis. And so another indirect free kick for Team Gemini. Powell sends that ball in. Jackson's got it. That's a 3-in-the-box violation. Hendrickson, Gonzalez, and Thomas all in the goal area. And Hendrickson really the one who should have stayed out of the area there because he had Thomas and Gonzalez defending. And so this is, again, an indirect free kick in favor of Team Gemini. The ball has to touch someone before crossing over the goal line in order for it to be considered a goal. So let's see how Team Gemini chooses to attack the Atlantis defense. Now referee Chris Mulholland is getting Gonzalez to move 5 meters back, which is the distance from the top of the goal area to the goal line. Jackson a little bit late on that kick, so it's going to be a goal kick for Team Atlantis. Hendrickson sends the ball into play. Nicely done by Thomas. Jackson with a shot. That's going to go on goal. Gonzalez is going to have to make a save on it. Oh, and a huge collision. Ron Polk absolutely destroyed Nathan Gonzalez. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can watch that one again. And you see Polk, after Jackson sends that ball, and Polk sees nothing but daylight. He absolutely crushes Gonzalez. But it looks like Polk got the worst of that as his foot guard is dragging on the ground. Let's see, it looks like he's going to come out. Coming on in his place back into the match for Team Gemini, Milt Young. Thomas. Powell cuts off that ball, sends it out for an Atlantis kick-in. If you're going to send the ball out anywhere and give it back to the other team, right in the corner where Michael Powell placed that ball is about the best spot you can put it. Powell, that ball getting through everybody, goes out of play. Looks like it's going to be a Team Atlantis kick-in.
All right.
Nicely done by Thomas, trying to get around Young. Powell's there. That's going to be a 3-on-1 violation. All 3 forward players for Team Gemini around the ball. Interesting, crashing into Jackson over here. It's a wild one. I will not lie. Ricky Wicklund in the game now for Team Gemini. Powell trying to get around Perez. He does, but Perez trying to pass the ball back to Thomas. Thomas the last to touch it. It's going to go out of play. Kick in for Team Gemini. Great spot. In perfect position for Team Gemini to take another shot on goal. Referee Chris Mulholland fixing the sunglasses for the Team Gemini coach. Powell looking for a shooting lane. Milt Young at the top of the goal area. Ricky Wicklund waiting as well. Young, right there, Young with an opportunity. Wicklund now, the ball comes to him. Gonzalez coming out to defend. That's close to a 2-on-1 violation, and referee is going to call it. Young and Wicklund getting too close together on that play, so free kick for Team Atlantis. Powell swoops in for Team Gemini. Young trying to get his way through that Atlantis defense. That is another 2-on-1 violation. Let's see if the referee calls it. He does. And Hendrickson just trying to blow his way through Powell. Hendrickson hit him so hard, Powell's joystick knob came off. So a direct free kick just to the left of the center line. Let's see if Powell tries to go straight on goal here. We'll see. Referee Chris Mulholland explaining to Hendrickson that you can't just blow through people. Powell looks like he's going to try to go to Young, but Hendrickson's there reading that pass attempt. So Powell sends that ball out of play. Looks like Angelo Lupe coming back into the match. We're going to get a substitution. And Nate Gonzalez, the one coming out. That ball bounces around. Perez can't control it. Goes out for a Team Gemini kick-in. Still 1-0 the score. Michael Powell, the lone goal scorer of the match so far. That ball out of play, kick in Team Atlantis. Thomas, Young doing battle. Ball out of play, kick in Team Gemini. That ball sneaks through the Atlantis defense. Michael Powell with a shot, saved by Lupe. And that ball is going to roll out for a kick in. Nice save. Let's watch that one more time. Powell sends that ball in on goal. See right here, nice shot. Saved by Angelo Lupe, and that ball rolls right out. And now back to live action, Michael Powell setting up. Powell into Young. Milt Young can't redirect it on goal, so it's going to be a goal kick for Team Atlantis. Michael Powell with a shot, saved by Lupe, nicely done. Powell with a shot again, saved again by Team Atlantis. Fantastic defense. Milt Young now trying to drive that ball through, and he can't do it. Great defense by Team Atlantis. Let's watch this again. Powell with a shot on goal. Lupe is there to stop it. And just really good defense by Thomas and Lupe. Now back to live action. Thomas with a goal kick. It's cut off by Powell. Now Perez and Wicklund doing battle. Julian Perez trying to blow his way through that Gemini defense. And Powell hits Hendrickson. Hendrickson puts his hands in the air. Play continues, however. Don't stop until the referee blows his whistle. Hendrickson still arms up in the air. Not quite sure if his chair is turned off or why he decided to stop playing once he was hit. The way he's looking at his joystick, it looks like his chair turned off. Hendrickson back in action. Perez, Wicklund doing battle, nicely done by Perez, but Powell's there, 2-on-1 violation, Team Gemini. Indirect free kick for Team Atlantis. Rob Thomas is going to take this kick. Thomas sends that ball. Perez tries to get it around Powell. Powell, nice turn move. A little bit of a collision. That ball bounces out towards the touchline. It's going to be a kick in for Team Gemini. Time winding down here in this second half. Team Gemini still in the lead off of a Michael Powell goal. And now Powell is going to send this ball back into play. I think Powell just trying to direct traffic here a little bit. Hendrickson cuts that ball off. Young, Hendrickson battling it out. It's out of play. Kick in, Team Gemini once again. Perez gets that ball past Powell. Now Thomas is going to pick it up. Powell now on a break. Michael Powell racing down the floor. Can he score another goal for Team Gemini? Powell trying to get around Lupe, and he can't do it. Nice defense by Angelo Lupe. Great job. Let's watch that once again. And Michael Powell just on a breakaway, one-on-one with Lupe. Powell tries to push his way through, and Lupe sends it out. Great job keeping this match to a one-goal game. Powell once again threatening the Atlantis defense. Referee Chris Mulholland calls another 2-on-1 violation. Looks like it's against Team Atlantis again. Powell looks like he's going for Young at the post. Now there's a pass over to Powell. Or, excuse me, Young misses the ball. If he had just stayed straight, he could have made contact with that ball, but I think he was thinking a little too much, trying to find the perfect angle to that ball. All he had to do was drive straight into it. Thomas to Hendrickson. Wicklund with the ball. Ricky Wicklund has the ball taken away by Thomas. Now Rob Thomas racing down the floor. Milt Young racing back on defense. Thomas with an opportunity. Rob Thomas with a goal! In the last minute of the match, Rob Thomas equalizes for Team Atlantis. Let's watch that replay again, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas just going right around Young, who got back there to defend, and he couldn't hold on. Bruce Sanders couldn't come up and make a play on time in goal, so we are now level at 1. And again, I'll go back to the defense by Angela Lupe, keeping Team Atlantis in this match. If it weren't for her stellar work in between the posts, Team Gemini would be running away with this right now. We're in added time at the moment. Let's see if Team Gemini can retake the lead. Thomas, the goal scorer, sends the ball back down the floor. Hendrickson's there. Hendrickson crashing into Powell, but Powell maintains control of the ball. Thomas hits it out of play. Team Gemini with a kick in. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard the whistle from the court behind us. This match still going on. Powell taking on Thomas. We got a 2-on-1 violation. Referee's going to bring the ball back. It's going to be an indirect free kick for Team Gemini. Can Team Gemini retake the lead in added time? We're about to find out. Powell with a shot. That ball rolls just wide of the post. And there's the final whistle, ladies and gentlemen. A late goal by Rob Thomas ends this match level at 1. Fantastic play by both sides. Angela Lupe, her defense kept this team in the match. And again, Rob Thomas saves the day for Team Atlantis with a late goal. Great job. So that's going to conclude our coverage for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for another round from the 38th National Veterans Wheelchair Games. Until then, for Power Soccer Shop, I'm Tony Jackson. Good night, and we will see you tomorrow.